Alright, so this is Quake 2. Quake 2 is kind of like if you took Quake 1, made every level really tight, smaller, claustrophobic, and also there's no air control in Quake 2. Aside from it's kind of like just space hovering. When you're in the air, you can hold one of your directional keys down, and you can kind of slowly hover in the direction. Nice. So, for the most part, every large jump you make in the game is kind of like you're just flinging yourself over there, and you have very little control. Ooh, let's not do that. Also, the engine we use allows us to use quick saving, quick loading very liberally. It's also possible in vanilla engine. And the main point of quick saving, quick loading is it allows us to do harder strats, less consistent strats, without, having to redo a level or restart the game. Okay. You also notice it's very easy to just bump into a wall or a corner and just get stuck, and that's just really inherent in the level design. So that was Unit 1. Not a bad unit. So you notice I just pulled out my pistol there, shot 3 times. We actually use the pistol to time grenade jumps in this game. You can actually time grenade jumps by just sound. The grenade sound effect takes approximately 4 times before it explodes. However, sometimes the grenade sound effect only ticks 3 times before it explodes, so it's very inconsistent. Should have opened chat. That was kind of sloppy. Apparently there's esports going on. Two health. Streambig.net. You can't hear the mic? So that's kind of an older strat, basically just tossing some ammo boxes underneath the door. And the way the game works is each ammo box will explode individually, not all at the same time, so it helps keep the door open so that you can crawl back underneath it. The game's too loud. We're not pausing this speeder.
No, that's
The terrors of OBS. So we do a lot of jumps off of explosive barrels in this game, and it's basically a very economic way to get up things, because explosive barrels are free in this game. Rockets are not free, and we'll be doing some rocket jumps later on. Okay. So sometimes we use a quad damage there, but it's actually possible to just knock the Shrog upwards using the pushback with the shotgun. So that's basically what we did, and that went pretty smoothly actually. Could have went smoother. So you'll notice this is kind of a gory game. It helps to clear the path sometimes, and the AI are basically good at one thing, because the mode we play on is easy, which is the fastest difficulty. It also means the regular enemies aren't really going to do much damage. They're just going to block they're going to get in your way and slow you down. So for the most part, we're just clearing the path whenever we have an open shot. And sometimes I'm just shooting enemies to stun them so that they don't take off a few points of health for every enemy I pass. It's a preventative measure. Okay. I can't believe I missed that. So, because this game doesn't allow air control like Quake 1 does, if we're ever doing any continuous bunny hops, for example, like around corners or down a curved corridor, what we're doing is in between hops, we're strafing in the direction that we want to go. And the way the game is coded is that it takes about a second, maybe half a second for, okay, this isn't that great. There, get out of there. Cool. So yeah, it takes about a half a second for friction to take over in Quake 2. So what we do, instead of immediately linking your next bunny hop, if you want to turn, you just strafe in that general direction for a little bit. There we go. So you might have just noticed my gun disappear. What we're using there is a keybind that changes the main firing, or the main hand, to center hand. It actually emulates the way Quake 1 plays. Okay. That was pretty quick. That was cool. Just getting mauled to death here. So yes, what center hand does is it allows your projectiles to actually come out right where you're aiming. Whereas when I take my gun out, it's actually using right hand. And the way the game is programmed, it makes your shots, your projectiles, everything you're shooting will actually come out of that right side. So while you actually have the view model out like this, you actually can't shoot completely straight down. It's kind of angled. So when you're doing bunny hops off of the ground, With a view model out, you'd actually not go straight up. So use center hand. This trick is kind of crazy. Not really crazy, it's just, it can be kind of tricky. What we're just gonna do, we're gonna pop an invincibility, which is the item I just picked up, and we're also gonna do a quad damage at the same time. We're gonna go up a mine shaft. Cool. Got up there. First try. Hell yeah. There we go. To sum up the recent history of Quake II speedrunning, I would say people running this at the highest level are basically trying to pack in as many rocket jumps that they can find. So, in terms of differences, budgeting rocket ammo is a little bit more important these days, and it also just takes the margin of error way up. It makes it actually much harder to get a decent run in because of how many very precise tricks there are. So yeah, they have those lasers there, but you can just crawl under them. Pro tip. I'm gonna pick up some rockets. Oh, that was close. You can actually, chain a lot of rocket jumps through here. It does eat up a lot of health, and also there are some mandatory rocket jumps later in the game, so it's wise to save a few rocket jumps. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, okay, second try, not bad. Not first try. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that little room has two moving platforms, and they have separate cycles, so sometimes you can go in and the platform will move in one direction, and then the next run it'll move in the other direction, so sometimes you just assume where it's going to go, and sometimes you fall into a laser pit. It's literally a laser pit, by the way. It's not lava. You get lasered to death if you fall in there. But yeah, you can actually play the whole game with center hand if you really want to. I actually prefer... Ooh, let me see if I can get out of here. Please. Move. There we go. Oh man. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Oh, we can do it. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you can play the whole game in center hand, but actually keeping your view model actually gives you some feedback in terms of how you're moving. Okay, that didn't work. There we go. So what that skip was, actually, there's a button in another room, and what the button does is it fires this thing called the big gun. However, someone discovered that there's a volume trigger sticking out of the ceiling. So if you hit the volume trigger by rocket jumping or grenade jumping into it, you can just simply skip like half the level and just blow the door open. So it's pretty sick. Oh, okay. Yeah, some of the death animations for enemy Strogg actually, it'll prevent the player from running through them while they're doing the death animation. So, if possible, it's better to completely jib the enemy so that you can just run through them. It's faster. This is probably the most constrictive, how should I say it, just very tight spaces part of the game. And so getting a good, this is called torture chamber, getting a good torture chamber actually really comes down to how many times you got snagged. Did you get any good bunny hops through torture chamber? And also these guys, I just call them dogs, but they're annoying. They don't really do a lot of damage once you have power shields. They basically just shoot acid at you. But they're everywhere and they get in the way. And also there's like a lot of Marines. This explains part of the process of how like humans get turned into Strogg, which is part of like Quake II lore. So deep. So for this part, you're just going to grab a head, because apparently that's used as a key or something. Oh yeah, and then Strogg can randomly just walk under elevators and block them at will. So far, not a bad run. See, there's like 4 or 5 of those dudes in there. Terrible. Alright, so this jump coming up, it's pretty old tech. I'm pretty much the first one who started doing it, but a lot of the more popular runners, or can I do it the first try? That's the question. Oh, well, definitely didn't do it the first try. But yeah, there you go. That's the jump. It's kind of wonky to do with the rocket launcher view model out, because, like I said earlier, it doesn't shoot completely straight down, but you can get used to it. Health. Let's just skip the elevator here. Oh. Get up there. And this is also another advantage of using center hand. The old strat we used to do there, we would just throw grenades to the window. But what center hand allows us to do is, because we can shoot directly out of our line of sight, we can literally just look at those computer panels and just shoot them with a rocket through the bars. Using the view model, if you're using right hand with a rocket launcher, you actually can't shoot through the bars like that. Can we grab it? No, I didn't. There we go. Oh, not the grenades. Yeah, those types of Stroggs, they have a machine gun, and they also have a grenade launcher, and it's completely It's basically RNG, which weapon they decide to use. And if you're like low on health and you walk in front of them, sometimes they can just randomly decide to use grenade launchers and just take you, like kill you basically. It's always fun when that happens. Fun fact about that jump there is if you're late and the gate comes down on you, it will actually teleport you like right in front of the lava pit that we just jumped over, so that was cool to get that first try. This is a newer jump. Let's try it. Did we do it? No, we didn't. Let's try it again. We might just skip it because it's newer tech, not exactly consistent. That's what we're trying to get to right there. I'll try it a few more times. Almost had it. Alright, last try. Alright, we're just gonna go the old-fashioned way. Yeah, that jump, it saves about, I would say, like 10 seconds just to run through here. But it feels really good when you get it. One thing to note about Quake is that enemies are sensitive to sound, so in the easy difficulty, if you're walking upon an enemy like around a corner, they're actually not going to attack you unless they see you or hear you. And one way they can hear you is by jumping. So there's a few parts in the game where you're like, okay, why is he not bunny hopping? We bunny hop here. But really what we're doing is we're just going to walk around the corner so that the Shrog don't like run into our face and block us. So oh, let's not get under there. It's always a very bad thing when you get stuck under an elevator or a Shrog gets stuck under an elevator. Because all they do is they just block the elevator goes up, and you lose like 10 seconds just waiting for an elevator. Did you get it? There we go. Cool. That was chill. Please. Oh, okay. That happens. There we go. Okay. So you might see other people use the machine gun here. I decided to use the style gun because it actually uses a different, like, ammo pool. There we go. It's kind of an intensive rocket jump here because we're just doing a few rocket jumps back to back and we got them, so not bad. That guy can just be excellent if he decides to shoot grenades at you. Alright, looks like got bad luck with the big enforcer review. But that went pretty smoothly, I'd have to say. Alright, so all we have to do here is we go through another portal and then we go to the boss. Oh, no way. Oh well. Maybe we can still get the cycle. I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad impulse. Yeah, we missed the cycle. So sad. This is the double-edged sword of using quick save and quick load. You're always tempted to use it. Alright. I got a kill. That was cool. So this is the last boss. It's kind of scary, just a warning. Alright, he's dead. Time is coming up. My bad. I forgot to warn. And time. Totally forgot to warn you guys. Not bad. Cool. Okay. Typing of the Dead.